Hey everybody, welcome back to the stream. Hopefully your Tuesday's going well. We're gonna get back into it, and now House Virtanen, with our current reigning monarch, Queen Ilmatar. We want to see what we can do about re-establishing the fact that House Virtanen is our house. Now, our children have the hyphenated last name Virtanen Kalevan because of their husband, or because of my husband. And he is actually House Virtanen Kalevan. He's a member of our dynasty, but not of our house. I want to be able to go back to having the house name be what it was. So I'm going to try a little bit of an experiment here. Now, I don't know if this is going to work or not. I'm going to stop being celibate. I'm not sure if she actually has a chance of having children. She's a little bit older. I don't even know. I don't know. So, our heir, Lovisa Virtanen Kalevan. Now, I could probably... Let's see, how do we end this betrothal here? Remove guardian, disinherit, denounce, grant titles. So, there's a couple of things here. I want to be able to break off this betrothal. And I don't know if I'm able to do so. Now, there's a couple of things here. For example, I want to be able to, there's a decision here to strengthen the bloodline, which we don't have the thing for, but we do have something to consecrate the bloodline. Oh. So, what we're going to do here, we have to have a level of devotion that is religious icon or above. So we have to go past this. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but the Virtanen dynasty gains 500 renown by this. So, don't know what we have to do for that, but that'll be interesting. Now, the thing is that we have two children. They're twins. And the succession right now is that we keep the Kingdom of Finland, the Duchy of Finland, and the County of Finland itself. But we don't have very many territories outside of that. Now, Johannes is going to get the County of Akel and the County of Satakunta. We're the first in line to get the Duchy of Estonia, because that is our father. We are allied with Duke Darbeslav II of Novgorod and King Miedite of Finland. But that's a little bit of a misnomer, right? Because he's the king consort. I wish I could change that to consort King Miedite of Finland. But he is, in his own right, the Duke of Finland, or Duke of Estonia. So this gets a little confusing. It's technically, we are part of the same dynasty, House Virtanen, or a Virtanen dynasty, but we are House Virtanen Kalevan. So I want to get back to just having it be House Virtanen. Now, the only way to do that is to go and marry back into the family, which might result in some inbreeding. So that's going to be a little rough. So we have Confederate Partition. Now, we do have the ability to choose Partition. I don't know what the difference is between this. Obviously, player heir opinions changed, direct vassal opinions changed. Direct vassal opinion is +5 for both. Eligible child opinion is decreased with partition, but increased with Confederate. But the house opinion is +5 with Confederate, and its player heir opinion +10 with partition. So it says all children inherit equally. Now, the thing about Confederate partition is that younger children will have titles created for them if enough land is held, whereas here, younger children will be given titles, and this is the exact same thing, will be given titles starting with those of the same rank as the primary title. If none are available, they'll be given lower ranking titles. Your player heir cannot be preemptively granted titles they do not stand to inherit. So you can't kind of do a workaround where you grant a title to somebody else. Now, under partition succession, your tiles will be divided equally between your children. Confederate partition, your tiles will be divided equally between your children. New tiles may be created for younger heirs. So the thing about Confederate partition is that, for example, if you already have... So let's actually just take a look at this in the case that we have right now. So we have the County of Finland, the County of Satakunta, and the County of Akel, as well as the Duchy of Finland and the Kingdom of Finland. Now, because we have one child, or two children, we're dividing that equally, but we only have one kingdom title, so The other kingdom title is, we retain that. We only have one duchy, so we retain the duchy. And then between the 3 counties that are left, I guess the way that the game kind of thinks of it as being quote-unquote equal, it's giving 2 counties to Johannes, and we keep 1, because we have the larger title of the Duke of Finland, or the Duchess of Finland, and the Kingdom of Finland. So if we were to switch to, say, Confederate as opposed to partition as opposed to Confederate partition, that wouldn't actually make a difference for this current setup. But if we had younger children, we would then maybe split up some of the land that we had even further to grant that. So that's the only thing. Say if we had 3 children, but we only had 2 county titles, we might make something up. I'm actually not quite sure about how this works. What is high partition? Heraldry. Okay, so we don't have heraldry yet. But the player heir will inherit at least half of the late ruler's titles, which is huge. Now, if we have a single heir, now we can't do any of these because we don't have primogeniture. Primogeniture is something that we don't discover until the late Middle Ages, or the late medieval era, so that's nowhere close. So partition, yeah, this is difficult. New tiles may be... Okay. Now, this is completely clear now. It didn't click until right now. Because we only had Confederate partition when the last ruler passed, we had a claim on the Kingdom of Lithuania, but we didn't actually form it. But because we have Confederate partition, when the 3 brothers... Or actually, now we had 3 heirs, right? We had Achmo, who was going to be the king of Lithuania. We had Duke Ukko, I think, not Ukko, King Havu, or Duke Havu, who was the Count of Uppsala, and we had Ilmatar. So we had Ilmatar, who was in line to gain the Kingdom of Finland. We had Akvo, who was then in line, because he was the 2nd eldest. He got the Kingdom of Lithuania, which hadn't been created yet, but because of Confederate partition, we then created the title. So in Confederate partition, you might end up creating a title which will be cheaper if you don't want to spend the gold to create the title, but then it also passes to somebody else, right? So if you want to wait and you have a bunch of titles that you don't have the ability to create, and you have a bunch of kids, then you can create all those titles. For example, with our last monarch, or right now, we have the Duchy of Sava, the Duchy of Courland, and the Duchy of Livonia. All of these can be created, but we do not have the money. But if we had, say, 3 other children, we could theoretically then create the Duchy of Sava, the Duchy of Courland, the Duchy of Livonia, and then grant those to those children, because those counties would be created. At least that's my understanding of it. I could be completely wrong, but as far as I know, I think if we have the ability to, because we didn't have the money to create the Kingdom of Lithuania, that's the reason why we didn't do it. But we have these titles that can be created, and so instead of having these can be created, we could then pass those tiles on to our children, who would then take them. Now, I'm not sure if that's exactly correct, because then I would think that Johannes would then be able to get this. But the thing is, there are enough tiles to go around right now, so none of these are going to be created upon the succession right now. So what could happen, say if we had 5 children, and we couldn't hold on to the County of Finland, or Johannes would get one of these things, and then we might pass another county on to a 3rd child, and then after that, we'd be able to create a duchy. At least that's what I'm thinking. This is kind of tricky. We don't really know exactly how that works. Now, we have an heir who's the first in line to inherit Estonia, who is our daughter, Lovisa. Now, I'm not sure if we inherit that and then we give it to Johannes. I guess it depends on what happens, right? If the king passes and then gives that title to Lovisa, when she accedes to the throne, if that's what's going to happen, does she then keep that because she already has the High Duchy, or she already has the Duchy of Finland, or does that pass to Johannes? I don't know. But she is the first in line because I think she's the heir, and so the game will just say, okay, by default you will get that, but maybe that does pass to Johannes. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. So that's difficult. Now, there's a couple of other things that I was curious about yesterday. I try to be, oh, okay, number one, let's get a court physician, start the search. Abandoned celibacy? Sure, let's do that. Let's see what happens. A new life begins today. I don't even know if she's able to have children, honestly. She's old for that. But who knows? Founding a holy order would be really fun, but we don't have the gold for that. So, another thing I was curious about is there's a function here from the Chancellor to integrate a title. Countess Olona of Volkovisk will be assigned to integrate title. At 100%, the target title becomes de jure part of your primary title. Possible side effects, Counselor skill. Noble support integration, culture supports integration. So I'm not sure exactly what this means. It takes a very long time. I thought this meant something completely different, but I wasn't sure. At 100%, the target title becomes de jure part of your primary title. So my primary title now is King of Finland, or Queen of Finland, right? So if we take a look at this, de jure part of the Empire of Scandinavia, but inside my realm, the Duchy of Finland, the Duchy of Karelia, and the Duchy of Pohjanmaa. Because this is the Kingdom of Finland. If we just take a look at the kingdom map, this is the Kingdom of Finland. Now, not yet created the Duchy of Savo, which is over here. That would also be part of our kingdom. So we would technically have 4 dukedoms, right? Duchies. So we have Finland, Savo, Pohjanmaa, and Karelia. Now, I think what we can do if we do the de jure thing, right, is we can technically, and this is what I'm thinking, I might be completely wrong, we could take another one of these duchies that maybe has or hasn't even been created yet, and then say that that is de jure part of my kingdom, my primary title. So in this case, I would take a duchy and say, nope, now it's de jure part of my title, not somebody else's. So let's take a look here. Sweden is nowhere to be found. Sweden is gone. Sweden is just poof, no title. King of Sweden doesn't exist. Sweden got taken over by the Gaivosh kingdom. Don't know what happened there, but they're gone. They're not a thing. So right now, hey, what's up, Ario? How's it going? So right now, Sweden doesn't exist. It's just not, it's a non-entity. It's a theoretical kingdom. It's passed into history and nobody knows where it's at. It disappeared. Now, not to say that that's a prerequisite, but if we put the de jure claim on that, so if we go back to the kingdoms map, Sweden is right here. Right. So the de jure capital of Sweden is the county of Uppland, right? Now at this point, since we're the hegemon of the Eastern Bothnian area, I wonder, because we are this kingdom right now, if we try to take something and make it the de jure part of my title. So integrate title. Right now, this is the Kingdom of Finland. I don't know how this works. So we have the Duchy of Courland right here, the Duchy of Estonia, which is part of the Kingdom of Estonia. So I don't even know how this is going to work, because technically that's going to be the home territory of the Kingdom of Estonia, right? So what would happen if we say, take Courland, for example. Integrate title in the county of Zemegalians, not a valid title. Target due to it is not de jure drifting towards Kingdom of Finland. So I think what happens is if a region is drifting towards being part of my primary title. For example, I think Estonia is drifting right here. So integrate title in county of Reval. At 100%, the target title becomes de jure part of your primary title. Fabricating claims inside your own realm does not give a casus belli, but allows the title revocation without tyranny. So, technically, these are all separate counties. I don't know if we take the entire duchy and integrate that, or if we take one county. And if we could take one county, I'd like to take Osel, because Osel is a holy site that allows us to build something in there. Now, let's zoom in a little bit. So Osel right here, development 10, but it has 4 different holdings. One of them can construct a special building for our religion, which is a grand temple. Now, I'd rather hold on to Osel and then take that away, take it away. At this point, nothing is kind of, we kind of are invited within the realm of CK3 to think of nation states in completely different ways, because that concept just simply didn't exist at the time. So what I could do is then claim Ossel is now part of the Kingdom of Finland, because this is all drifting, and I don't know how they calculate drift. We've held onto this tile for quite a long time now, probably the last 100 years or so. So I'm not sure what happens with the Kingdom of Estonia. Wait. Oh my goodness, how did I not even notice this? Estonia is no longer in the game. Again, this happened during the previous playthrough. Gaivash subjugated the Kingdom of Estonia. So now they have the title of King of Estonia. Now, it's even less because Estonia doesn't exist, right? So we can usurp the title because we control most of the territory here that is theoretically the Kingdom of Estonia. Wow, okay, I'm just taking a minute to step back here, and let's take a look at this map. This is kind of nuts. So the Sami have controlled, now they've subjugated Estonia. Sweden doesn't exist. Finland is now pretty much the hegemon of the Eastern Bothnian area. And the Baltics. Lithuania is technically part of our dynasty, right? Because he's House Boti, but he's of our dynasty, which again is slightly confusing, right, in the way we usually think of dynasties and whatnot. But Lithuania is technically Finnish, not Lithuanian. Most of all the rulers are Reformed Sovinusko. There are, yeah, that's a whole other thing right here. So this gives us a golden opportunity. I don't consider the Gaivash to be strong. Now, that could just be my whole, like, oh, okay, well, they weren't a kingdom in real life, they're not a thing. But, I mean, neither was Finland, right? In history, Finland was just pretty much annexed, de facto annexed by Sweden in the 1300s and became part of Sweden up until, you know, the 19th century. So, that's not quite it, right? That's not the reason why. I don't know. They've been really warlike at the very beginning of the game. The Sami tribes were extremely powerful. We had to fight against them a lot. Now, if we try to take this de jure title, how does that work? Because Estonia is already kind of drifting to us. If we take this and change task to integrate title in the county of Ossel, it's going to take 8 years. De jure drift. That's already drifting. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at this. De jure drift, a slow process by which a title's de jure liege can change. Okay, so for example, right now, also the de jure liege would be the Duke of Estonia, and then, by proxy, the King of Estonia, right? It occurs naturally when a duchy or a kingdom is completely controlled by a ruler who does not hold the territory's de jure liege title. So, that would be us, because we've controlled this region for a long time. We don't hold the territory's de jure liege title, which would be the Duchy of Estonia, which is within our dynasty. We don't hold the title of King of Estonia, though. This process can be sped up by assigning your chancellor to the appropriate counselor task. Duchies can only de jure drift into kingdoms, and kingdoms can only drift into empires. So right now, the duchy is de jure drifting into the Kingdom of Finland, I'm assuming. We'll go back and check that. Letting titles de jure drift into your primary title is a good way to get rid of the rightful liege penalty. For example, the Duchy of Northumbria is a de jure part of England, but the territory of the duchy is entirely within Scotland. Since the King of Scotland does not also hold England, the duchy will start to de jure drift toward becoming a part of Scotland. So, if we take a look at this map again, so all of these territories which are part of the Duchy of Estonia are de jure drifting towards us, right? So if we take a look at Ossel right now, it's de jure part of the Duchy of Estonia, and then by greater extension, the Kingdom of Estonia. This is starting to drift towards us, so I'm thinking, can we actually de jure drift the entire... The kingdom is not drifting, right? The kingdom itself is, number one, non-existent, or it's a part of Gaivash. But the duchy itself is not drifting. If we look at this, it's the county that's drifting. Hey, Jolson, what's up? Thanks for the host, man. How's it going? Haven't seen you online for a little bit. So right now, the entire duchy is not drifting. Well, the duchy is drifting because we control the entire duchy. The Kingdom of Estonia is part of Gaivash. The kingdom can't drift because the kingdom will only drift towards an empire, which nobody has right now. but the duchy is drifting towards our crown of Finland. So now this entire duchy is drifting because we've controlled it, and the Estonians haven't controlled it for a long time. We've controlled it for quite a while. This entire duchy, let's take a look here. The Duchy of Estonia is drifting. So this entire area here is drifting towards being de jure part of the Kingdom of Finland, not Estonia. So right now, this whole part is the Duchy of Estonia that is de facto part of the Kingdom of Estonia. Now what's happening because we control Estonia, this entire duchy is now drifting to us, which is the Kingdom of Finland. And it won't de jure be part of the Kingdom of Estonia. I don't know what's going to happen to this de jure Kingdom of Estonia, because that's their territory right here, right? So the de jure capital might move. I don't know if they're going to keep it here. That's going to be a weird thing to keep. Right on. Yeah, no, I totally get that. Totally get the taking a break. That's a good call. Sometimes we all need that clarity, right? So right now, if we're going to try to have the county of Osel drift, this is something that's already happening, right? So all these counties are drifting pretty quickly. I mean, so if we take a look at the progress here, plus 1.84, there's passive integration that's happening at 1, and then our diplomacy from our chancellor is going to increase that, and that's going to complete in 8 years. So we're just kind of helping this along. Now, the question is, if that's going to happen in 8 years, are we best served by actually just doing something with our direct vassals? I don't really care about foreign affairs right now. Prestige, it seems like one of those things that we just get a lot of, and we don't really know what to do with it, so it doesn't really matter. Independent ruler opinion, again, this is one of those things I don't care. I'm not really concerned with like other people's opinion of me right now. I'm doing pretty well on this part of the map, so I'm not too threatened by the Gaivash, for example. Now, we don't have too many alliances. Now, that's going to be something that we have to address. But right now, if we're trying to do a couple of things, how are our domestic affairs, direct vassal opinion? If we take a look at our direct vassals here, some of them like us. Most of them are, you know, they're on our side. So I'm not super worried about that. There are a couple who are kind of teetering on back and forth, like, say, for example, Count Asko Vanamane. But for the most part, our most powerful vassals are pretty much on good terms with us. There's Count Arto of Grobin. Now, that's not to say that a bunch of smaller vassals who get together can't cause an issue, because that obviously has happened in the past. We've seen what happens with that. That's really annoying. But King Mielite is obviously not going to turn against us. Duke Buro III, or the second of Karelia, is at 100%. Duke Karle is plus 66. So I'm not worried about the counts themselves. Now, I don't know what's going to happen here. We can also create a duchy, the Duchy of Salvo. Now, the territory of the Duchy of Salvo is here. Nobody has it. But if we take a look at the Realms mode, most of these belong to the Duchy of Salvo, but I don't know, who are these directly accountable to? Now, we have Susma and Pialinen, who belong to the Duchy of Pohjanmaa. And we have Olevanlinna, which now is a direct holding, I think. Yes, it's a direct holding of Duke Buro II of Karelia. Now, since these are all kind of split up, if we create this duchy, the Duchy of Savo, let's take a look here. Do we then grant that title here because the de jure capital is here in the county of Olevanlinna, which is controlled directly by Duke Budo? So if we create the Duchy of Savo, does the capital, because it's in one of the direct holdings, does this de facto then become a part of this guy's holding? That's not great, right? Right now, this is split up between two nobles, the Duchy of Karelia and the Duchy of Pohjanmaa. But if we create a duchy here, does that actually work in our favor? I don't know. Again, it's one of those things I'm not too clear on. Have to kind of take a look at this and figure out how that actually works. Because I'm unclear at what happens at that point. So right now, I guess I'll just help things along here. I don't really care too much about direct vassal opinion. Now, she's actually could try to have this append to the Duchy of Finland, or the Kingdom of Finland. And if we take a look at our vassals, they're doing pretty well. Not worried about that. Now, one thing I am a little worried about is who our champions are. We haven't gone to war in a while, but I don't want anybody who's super weak being on there. I also don't want our heir to be part of that, because now men and women, because we have equality, can be commanders. Now, do we have somebody who's weak and powerful? Powerful in that they hold territory, but a terrible fighter? I don't think that's the case. Looks like everybody here is pretty decent. Our levies are low. Now, this is one of the things that I've been concerned about. We only have 3 holdings directly, right? So that would be the county of Satakunta, the county of Finland, and the county of Akel. Because Lithuania is now a part of its own kingdom, we don't have those taxes either. So we don't have those vassals paying us taxes. If we created a separate duchy here, that would help. We do have a greater degree of control over these counties. We might inherit those. Who knows? But if we take a greater look, all of these are still technically our vassals. And Lithuania is here. Now, if we look in terms of expansion, West Francia is kind of getting their fingers all over the place. I don't like that. They're really powerful. They're not at war with anybody. They are allied with Count Frederic of Châlons, so that's not really... It's just a one-person thing, I'm assuming. Here we go. Châlons. Yeah. Oh, well, okay, so that one county has 3,000 soldiers. So it's not a nobody. Now, the Danelaw is falling apart. They're at war, or at least they were at war. West France is just kind of taking the middle out of England here, or I guess it wouldn't be called England anymore. I don't know what you'd call that. Daneland, that would be Denmark. West France has taken over pretty much all of Denmark. There's one territory here which is being held by Count Helle Galcherson of Ulan. I don't know where that's going to go. The Duchy of Skåne is here. They're independent, but they're also Catholic, so this is going to be interesting. I'm not sure they're allied with Duchess Alex of Skåne and Count Adalbert of Neufchâteau, so I don't know what their whole deal is. We could possibly expand into here. Hey, thanks for the follow. Yeah, Wales is interesting. Wales has some bits and pieces everywhere. The Hebrides, they own southern Wales, and I think they have Iceland. Oh no, Iceland became independent again. They were part of Wales at one point. Ponthièvre is its own county. I don't know. They're independent. I don't even know how they're surviving. And then the Umayyads have taken over all of Iberia. That's just all of Iberia, all of Morocco. Yeah, Spain is not a thing. Spain is not a thing as we recognize it. Now, this is something that happened relatively recently. So East and West Francia were actually part of the same territory, and recently this broke off. So the Kingdom of East Francia is King Francesco, which is an interesting name there. So he's Catholic and Cisalpine. So Cisalpina, right? If we play Rome, we know that's over here on this side of the Alps. So I don't know how he became the king of West Francia, but who knows? And there's a bunch of vassals, right? So he has a bunch of counts underneath him. I don't think he has a bunch of duchies, right? And same thing with West Francia, there's a mishmash of things. There are a few powerful dukes here. And if we look at Bavaria, so this actually, you know what, I think what happened is that I think this was part of Bavaria, and then Bavaria split. And we have a bunch of Poland and Bohemia, which was, kind of unified. The Kingdom of Great Moravia and the Kingdom of Bohemia were a lot larger, but now they've split up into a bunch of different pieces. And yeah, the Byzantines are kind of OP right now. And the Gaivash are here. I don't get it. I don't know. So this was all Estonian territory, so that makes sense. I don't know how Estonia lost. The Gaivash kingdom is at war, but they're winning against Countess Norava of Tula in the Independence War. I don't even know what's happening here. So the Kingdom of Vladimir is also allied with them. Goladets over here. Yeah. I think the next thing that we want to do is try to integrate the Duchy of Finland into the Duchy of, or the Kingdom of Finland. King Francesco's house is... Wow. Zighadinga Litomerice. Litomerzice? Litomerzice? Okay. Zighadinga Litomerzice. So Litomerzice, I don't know where they got... So Zighadinga is obviously German, but Litomerzice, I don't know. That sounds like it could be Czech or Moravian, right? So there's that. Duke Johanna Skåne is the Margrave house. House Margrave. I don't know if they're English. So yeah, in terms of expansion, now the thing is here is this is part of Lithuania now, but this is the de jure seat of this county. I was actually thinking about expanding it to Småland, But the Duchy of Smolna is not created, but the de jure capital is in a territory that's controlled by the King of Lithuania, yada yada yada. Now, we can't theoretically put a claim here. Now, before we start looking abroad, I'd like to really consolidate all of this area here in the Duchy of Finland itself. This is not controlled by me personally. This is controlled by other house members, Countess Ilta of Nyland, Countess Lovisa of Tavast, and Count Valtteri of Mesukila. Now, all these guys, this guy's House Virtanen, this ruler is House Hämeenlinna, and then Nyland is controlled by Virtanen and Porvoo. So, maybe if I tried to declare war on that, because it would be going against the war with the Liege, and maybe we'll take Nyland. Nyland would be really helpful. Nyland has 4 spots, Tavast only has 3. And it is our family, but out of these 3, it has the most holdings, and this is the future's height of Helsinki, obviously. Yeah, the Nemezhitsa, I think, sounds Czech, because of the R, with that accent on there, the diacritic over the R, I think is, yes, and you're right, MP4L, there's a lot of border gore happening, it is real. So, if we take the county of Nyland, this would be great, because this has four holdings. Finland itself only has 3. Satakunta has 4. So if we take Nyland, we should... And this is, pretty highly developed territory, so it's right below us. Now, if we take this title, how do we do this? If we claim the title, we get an unpressed claim on the county of Nyland. They lose 50 opinion of us. She's young. I know it's terrible. That sucks. I'm sorry. I'm going to take it back. And they only have 1 heir. Now, the primary heir is her dad. I don't know what happened here. Did he just abdicate? Is that a possibility? Maybe he did. I don't know. But we're going to try to claim this title here and see what happens. This is something I haven't done before. Now, we do have a bunch of renown. I'm not really all that worried about taking a hit there. We'll gain that back. But we get this unpressed claim, and we can press the claim, and I think we can go to war with just this vassal and take it away because... her liege lord, Duke Karla, is not going to go to war with me, I'm assuming, to get this 1 territory. Now, Duke Karla might not like that. I don't know. We're going to have to see. We're technically part of the same house, or at least Lovisa is going to be part of the same house. The other thing that's really interesting here, this is House Virtanen Kalevan. We are also House Virtanen Kalevan through marriage, but they seem to be 2 separate cadet branches. I don't know how that happened. They have 2 different mottos, and he just founded this house. So, to add even more confusion, it's the same last name, but they're 2 separate houses, 2 cadet branches that have the same exact name, founded by 2 separate people at 2 different times. Don't know how that works. Super confused about that. But I think before we actually start the game, we're going to go in here to Nyland. Let's press a claim here. Claim the title. And let's see if we can go to war. Oh, we can't. But we do have a claim on the title, though. I can't revoke the title because she is not my direct vassal. Okay, so found that out really quickly. So even though we have a claim, she is 2 tiers below us, and she's somebody else's vassal, so I can't go to war with her directly. I could go to war with Duke Karla. I don't think that's going to be... Negotiate alliance. Claim title? No, that would just be on the Duchy of Pohjanmaa. No. But we do have a title on the County of Nyland, so if we can somehow finagle our way into getting that, we have a claim that we can press for the future. But... that being said, we still have a capacity of 6, so Osa we could take as well. I don't know if we can take that from our husband, that seems weird. But outside of our realm, this whole territory here, Skåne, not Skåne, that's down here. The Duchy of Northumbria, I love that. But no, Småland we could take. Now, this belongs to a couple of different people, West Francia being one of them, the Danelaw being another, Lithuania being a third, and Gaivash being a fourth. So we can take the other territories within here. There's a lot of counties in Småland. So the Duchy of Småland has a bunch, right? Which if we want to form Scandinavia, right, we have to have our capital here at Kalmar anyway. Which is this territory in the County of Møre. But that's held by somebody else in the Duchy of Lithuania. Which, to be honest, I don't know how they're going to hold up. They are relatives of ours. but yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. Now, we can actually negotiate alliances with some of our more powerful vassals. So, for example, Duke Carlos II enters a mutual alliance with you. So this is one of those things that I haven't quite understood. If we have an alliance with one of our vassals, I think they will come to war in some cases, but not in others. Don't know how that works. They're already giving us levies, so this is beyond the levies. So they have 988 soldiers outside of the levies they're giving to us. So technically the Duchy of Karelia would also be a stronger ally. The Duchy of Estonia. Now, I don't know claim title. No, okay, that's too confusing. So we can have an alliance with the Duchy of Pohjanmaa. Right now, we only have a couple weaker alliances. Well, we have one with King Miedita, which is obviously... So we already have his 1,000 soldiers here. We have an alliance as well with Duke Darbislava. Now, he's a part of the kingdom of... What is happening here? Latagalians? Who controls all that? The Duchy of Latagalians. They're really strong. But he's Finnish. Or he's Sumanusko. I don't even know how that works. Well, I mean, obviously, he's a vassal to King Guy, or the Gaivash king. Again, confusing. So, Smallland is probably the best bet. That's low-hanging fruit. The Danelaw is teetering right now. They don't have too many soldiers. They have, yeah, they're not doing super well. It's a young king. He has 1,000 soldiers. They don't have any allies. I don't know who they'd be able to call in terms of defense. We do have enough gold right now to just do a war for a little bit. I think it's a golden opportunity to seize all of this land here. Nudung, Sevede, and Veland. Okay. So, Jolson says, vassals will provide levies, but if you ally them and use prestige to call them into war, they will help you with the remaining 75% of levies and their men-at-arms. Fantastic. So that's what my kind of understanding of it was. I didn't know percentages, what they would do, but I thought, okay, well, we have some of the levies, but they'll contribute the rest of the army. So that totally makes sense. Let's see. Okay, so we have duchies that can be created. We have wars that can be fought. We have a powerful vassal who demands a position. So Count Arto of Grobin actually would be a much better steward than Duke Budo, but Duke Budo is more powerful. Count Arto doesn't like us, but he is a much better steward. So I think I'm going to appoint him anyway. And, you know, Duke Budo wouldn't care too much if I took him off council. It doesn't seem like he's... I mean, he's definitely in my corner here. So Count Arto will assign him to be a steward. That's not super great, but we'll get back here. Now, Count Arto... So that is a huge difference. The County of Finland, to develop that, would have taken 8 years under Budo. It's taking 3 years under Arto. So, huge difference. Huge difference. Now, is this exactly what we want to be doing? Do we want to change culture anywhere else to Finnish? We could. There's a couple places here that are Sami, but they're close enough. I'm not worried about that. No, I think we'd be best served by developing Finland, which is what we're doing right now. And Duke Karla is increasing control in Akel. Yes, which is what it needs. So I think right now, let's take a look here. The County of Sevda. Now, this is technically a different count. We could actually just go to war with Count Ekbert Saxredsson to, say, a holy war for the Duchy of Småland. So it would be these three territories right here. 200 piety. Now, if we do a holy war for the county, that'll be 100 piety. So we have a lot of piety. We're just kind of sitting on it right now. Now, would it be... We're actually declaring war against King Ulrich Danson for the duchy here of Småland. It's the same cost, because they are a Satru. Let's take a quick look here at the religion map. So most of England is a Satru. There's some Catholic bits over here with the Irish themselves. Catholics here, Lollards here, and then this is all Muslim, this is all Orthodox, and there's a mishmash of things going out here. We have Cabarites, Cabarite Jews, we have Druze, Asatru pockets here, Vitalists, and the Reformed Sumunusco, which is our religion, and Sumunusco and Old Sumunusco. So we've reformed the religion twice. So Old Sumunusco is what we started off with, and then we reformed it, and it became Sumunusco, and now we have Reformed Sumunusco, which is most of our territories here under our direct rule, as well as some of the territories in Lithuania that were reformed before they split. So, Asatru. So we can do a holy war there. Yes, if we declare war here, holy war for the Duchy of Smolan, confirm 200 prestige or piety. We could do this. Now, we don't have a huge amount of gold. I would be saving up to create duchies, but I think this will increase. If we get these 3 counties and rule them directly, so Nudong, Seveda, and Veren, we can hold up to 6. So we'll hold on to these for right now. This might get split up in a weird way upon succession, but we'll at least have a foothold here, because if we want to form the Empire of Scandinavia, if we look long-term, we need to have our de jure capital here, in Kalmar. At least I'm thinking that's what it is, because that's like the Kalmar Union. Let's take a look at that real quick. Oh no, it's actually here. The Empire of Scandinavia is, they have their capital here in Skåne. In Lund. Okay, so it's at Lund. I thought it was going to be at Kalmar. I thought Kalmar Union. No. North Korea tactic. What exactly would the North Korea tactic be? Just kind of isolating. Court physician. The world is full of dangers even to a queen and her court. As per my request, my servants have inquired after recommendations. So, apparently Herta is quite experienced. Let's go ahead and hire her. Take all fees for yourself. Aha! That makes sense too. I do want to do that. Now, I don't want to disinherit too early because we only have 2 children. So if something happens to one of them, that's going to be... it would be unfortunate. But at the same time, that means that they would keep everything. Because of partition, it's been so difficult to keep the realm together. And trying to do so, I've had to do strategic disinheriting. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Iron Constitution. Mental resilience. Let's see. Iron Constitution. Now, let's go to war. Holy war for the Duchy of Smolan. Ta-da! Declared war on King Rurik. Oh, he's actually changed his profile. Alright. Why do we only have 574 soldiers? It's because we don't have that many fiefs, or provinces, or counties, sorry. I call them fiefs. I'm used to calling them fiefs and not counties. Okay. Now, we can theoretically call a couple of people in. Duke Dadavislava only has 200 soldiers, though. House member Countess Atfelha? Atpelha? Where is she at? Pudoj. No. Dynasty members. Here we go. Prince Akvo. Nope. Lauha. Havu. They're all pretty weak. They're depleted from their previous wars. So we're going to go ahead and try to fight this on our own. I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. Now, one thing I've noticed is that once we've, obviously when I started in 874, 876, we were tribal. And so the cost of raising armies was so cheap. Now that we're feudal, I've noticed that wars are extremely expensive to conduct, and you can only do it for a short while before you start getting bankrupt really, really quickly. Okay. Other wars are happening. Now, if we want to capture this... What's this? Select the holding. No, okay. That's not relevant. Now, the Danelaw is, I think, only at war with us. And it's just us. Us versus them, one-on-one. Mano a mano. And we outnumber them almost 2-to-1. Now, the thing is that I don't know how large their treasury is compared to ours. Are they better equipped to fight a longer war? Not really. Not by much. Okay, so the Danelaw are going straight for Turku. So we'll take this, we'll go back to Turku, defeat them, be able to kind of fend them off for a little bit. Now, the Duchy of Northumbria, who controls this, I don't know where his army's at. But he has 1,500 soldiers, so it's actually a little bit closer to even, right? Because 1500 plus their 1340. Secrets of Nature. My guest Yarka is a skilled herbalist. Okay, let's gain the herbalist trait. Fantastic. I know her father had that trait as well. Forget exactly what happens with that. Herbalist. +2 intrigue, +2 learning. I guess if you want to poison somebody, it helps with intrigue. Okay, so now we're going to capture Seveda. We're going to send this army back to Turku to hopefully expel that other army before they capture it. Now, we're going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage because we have to deal with disembarkation. So hopefully it won't be to the point where it'll be decisive. No, it looks like we're still going to be able to win this battle. We captured Count Ekbert of Seveda. So we've captured the de facto ruler of that county and his court physician Alfhild during the siege of Stegholm. So, yeah. We have another thing that just popped up here. Offering relief. To my surprise, Duke Budo has corresponded with my counselors for to arrange for a day for myself to take off some of the pressure I've been under. In the end, I spent it following a suggestion from Budo himself, spreading donations among almshouses and less fortunate nobles. I needed this. That story reminds me of, oh, there's a Queen of Hungary. Was it St. Elizabeth? I think she was one of those people who was a queen, but then she was known for her generosity. She would go out amongst the people and donate and give alms. You gain 10 opinion of you. Wait, hold on, wait, I gain a higher opinion of myself? Okay. No, okay, great. No longer as overwhelmed by stress. Okay, so they abandoned this because they didn't have the arms. We gained the men-at-arms negotiation, so men-at-arms maintenance is minus 25% for 5 years, which is great, because that's a huge amount of what we have to pay every month. And we handily defeated that army. Glory is widely known. Let's take a look at the details here, just because I didn't pay attention. The champions are all intact, they lost 1. And we can ransom Count Ekbert here for 50, and I don't really care, because... whatever, give me the money. Okay, now we'll pursue the war in earnest. Let's go ahead and capture Nyudong here. Vissing... that is a... what? It's the Brashkrung Ilmatar. Okay, good. What's the name of the settlement again? Vissing... sir. Oh, that is a weird name. Yeah. Vesha. Vesha? I'm assuming that's Vesha. Duke Budo's friendship. Uh-oh. While his numerous attempts to cure my fear of not getting noticed, I cannot feel but irritated by Duke Budo's sudden interest in me. I cannot shake the feeling that the man's intentions are not pure. Okay, so that's... nah. Why can't he leave me in peace? Leave me alone. Déjame en paz, por favor. I don't know why. She would obviously not be speaking Spanish. Alright. Count Asko Vanemane. Oh, he's a giant, isn't he? Eh. Kinda. Obviously, it's not kinda. County of Kinda. Convert Faith and County and Satakunta. Okay. Wait, did we have... why did we convert Satakunta? Oh, wait. What? No. That seemed like it could have been directed elsewhere. Okay, it's because they weren't reformed. They were old Sumanusko. Okay, what's this? Reformed Sumanusko. Old to reformed is one thing. Druze to reformed is a completely separate thing, so we're gonna send her there, or him there. I guess we could try to increase religious relations and increase our piety. Eh? Nah. Yes. It's not super pressing. Okay, they don't even have enough forces to take Seveda anyway, so we're just gonna take Kinda real quick and then go back down there and take that army out. I honestly don't think we're gonna have to send our... wait, oh, who are they at war with? Who controls this? Duchess Euphemia of East Anglia. Okay, so now they're at war with their own vassals, so yeah. This should be relatively easy to win. County of Akel is given rise to the peasant rabble. Peasant rabble? Get out of here, peasant rabble. Okay. Increasing control in Akel. Oh no, okay, so they're still working at it. Yeah, I think we're going to save up enough for now to... Oh, okay, 4 gold. Woohoo! To consecrate the bloodline. So let's send this army here, defeat them thoroughly. Hopefully that'll give us even more war score. So, inspired moderation. Okay, overreaching can be terribly dangerous, and he gains the trait temperate. Good for them. Solitude in the Great Hall. Lovisa seems to be having a difficult time at our latest feast. She slipped underneath one of the tables and hid from people for the entire meal. Okay. Oh, I don't want her to be shy. Being shy as a ruler is very difficult. It takes so much effort to do anything. Now, the thing is that I could theoretically disinherit her, right? And just give the kingdom to our son, because they're both twins. Let's see, if she becomes impatient, or does she become gluttonous? Let's see, impatient. Yeah. Opinion of liege. Vassal opinion -5. Opinion of patient characters. But she increases her prestige. Let's do that. Yeah, that's the reason why I didn't want to do that. Exactly. Take consort. Maybe that'll make... Hey, you're my prisoner. I'm just kidding. I think I already have a consort, don't I? Not to say that you can more than one, because you obviously can, but let's go to Verand here. How did this battle go? Yeah. I guess we could split this army up and make it faster. We could probably take Vestmanland over here. Vesteros. Pretty sure that's where Westeros came from. Let's see. Count Arto. Of course you did. Of course you created a faction, you jerk. Maybe I should try swaying him. Let's try swaying him. I don't like talking, like physically talking. I feel it takes much energy, but you have no issue with this. You thoroughly enjoy talking. Speaking your mind, indeed. Yeah. Yeah, I know. When I first got into streaming, I was like, can I talk on stream? It's like, yeah, no, I like to hear my own voice sometimes. Let's see. Notable guest has arrived. Prusas would make for an accomplished commander. Let's hire him then, because commanders are great. Where? Prusas. Where are you? Here we go. Oh, 18 marshal. Great. How much are you? 25? No. Way too expensive. Okay, so we won Vedend. Yeah, you know, the funny thing is that I'll go through bursts of talking, but I do like to chit-chat, I'm not gonna lie. So we'll take Kinda, kinda. I mean, it's technically outside of the realm. It's technically outside of our target, right? But it's an easy territory to take. And the capital of the Danelaw is actually under control by somebody else, which I know in this game it seems like you could just take it away from that person too. So we could probably take it back from whoever is fighting amongst themselves over there. That's actually probably the best bet. Let's just send this army out. Let's send them back over here. Send them straight to what looks like York. Yep, Jorvik. So I've noticed there are some changes here. So obviously they're controlled by the Danes, and it's still Jorvik instead of York. I noticed that some of the other territories here, I know somebody commented on YouTube about how some of the lands were kind of weird, right? Because we have Finland instead of Suomi, we have Nyland instead of, I forgot what this is in Finnish. Instead of Ahvenmaa, we have Åland. So, oh, we have prisoners? Oops. Let's see if we can ransom a couple of them. Oh, we only have Bo. Who is Bo? What did he do? I've gained a favor hook on King Hludik. Why? Your neighbor King Hludik has lost against Duchess Euphemia of East Anglia in the Liberty War. Why did I get a hook on him? I don't understand. I mean, I'm not going to turn it down, but what's the hook for? Maybe he'll offer... Nope. Okay, I don't know what that is. I don't know how I got a hook on him. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, as they say. So I'm just going to be like, okay, cool. So we're going to go and capture Jovik. We have another learning lifestyle perk, which is great. Mental resilience. We could take a mental break. We can try to write our thoughts down. Gain occupied writing for 1 year. That's fine. -2 diplomacy. Bring me my journal. Lose some stress. I grab a pen and open my journal. With each sentence that graces the paper, I feel my shoulders relaxing. The clarity this process brings is unrivaled. I dip my pen once more. And so that loses 24 stress. Not a whole bunch, but a decent amount. There's a revolt happening. Yeah, the Danelaw is losing control. Okay, so there's some more Irish people here. The Ormond, Athlone. Iceland has some territories. Lennox, Annandale. Go you! Go Iceland! Good job. Theriar, are they independent? They are. Same thing with Chieftain Georg Zbigniewson. Wow, that is a name. Okay, so we gained 50 gold. Fantastic. Efficient taxation in the County of Finland. So obviously this person is a mix. Okay, they're a Satru, Norse, and Polish, obviously. Geralt Zbigniewson. We now control North Riding, and isn't that enough? I mean, I've taken a bunch of... Okay. Let's just raid. Let's go back to our roots here. Let's take East Riding. Yorkshire is really, really rich here, it looks like. So East Riding and North Riding, then Lancashire, Cheshire. We could take Lancashire. Let's take Lancashire after that, if they still don't want to surrender. Or we could just loot and raid to our heart's content. But I don't think... I think at some point you get diminishing returns, because it takes so much to keep this army up and running. But we're only getting 3 a month, and it takes us, let's say, how long? About 5 months. So at that rate, we cost us about 15 gold to capture a territory. We could just keep raiding and increase our coffers. Burn more calories from talking. Talk, talk, talk. Exercise. Exercise your jaw. I don't know. So this is one thing. We can afford to keep this army out here because it's not that expensive. Because I think we have the men-at-arms that we've gained. Chit-chit-chat. Chit-chat. Pocklington. What is Pocklington? Does it become Pocklington? Lincoln. Okay, so Lincoln is 18. So Otto gained 25. Hopefully we can dissuade him from being in that faction. Now, this makes for some good raiding over here. This is going back to our raiding roots as a tribal kingdom. Let's go out here to Lancashire. We can get... Oh, that's the town. That's Salford. Oh, West Derby. We can loot the church, can't we? I mean, I don't think we can plunder. I don't think that's an option. I've tried doing this before, and you can only really plunder the castle. You can't really, at least as far as I know, you can't just plunder a town, which would obviously make for better pickings there. Okay, Dunham. Dunham is good. Let's go to Dunham. And... Bernicia. 22. We're just gonna plunder, because at this rate, it's cheaper for us to take from them, and then we can actually create some tiles. We can make some improvements, right? We can build a couple of buildings in Finland itself. Lingering resentment. Johannes has been harboring a secret affection for Giada for some time. However, when he finally confessed his feelings, Giada responded harshly. Oh no! She looks older than him by oh no, a couple of years. Now Johannes mutters whenever she passes by. Childlike vices. Vengeful, huh? So increased his intrigue and prowess. What are his strengths right now? Intrigue is not that strong, neither is prowess, so him doing that, perhaps love is not for Johannes. Becomes chaste. I don't know about that. Johannes should not let anyone treat him like that. Okay, well, +3 stewardship. Stubborn? Yeah, let's make him stubborn. And he's virtuous. Okay. Not to say, I mean, consent is always 100% important. So, taken out of context, that seems a little weird. Being stubborn, though. Okay, so we can ransom Ultibo Regenwildson of the East Riding. Sure, that's fine. 10 gold, whatever. Oh, I should have made her convert. Alpha de Vendôme. Okay, so we theoretically could end the war now, but why would I? I am going to... This is usually something like when the first opportunity comes to end the war, I usually say yes. But the thing is that our armies are so much cheaper right now. I might as well keep them in the field and keep raiding and plundering. We don't have any reason to come back home. With suspicion, I took Lovisa out playing with a bow, and to my surprise, she ran into a wounded doe. She later lashed out at me, thinking I had staged the whole encounter as some kind of test. No, it is a test. No, I'm not going to make her paranoid. Show me you can do it yourself. Why is she getting so stressed out? Sadistic. Yeah, let's make her sadistic. Can she fight? I mean, she can fight-ish. Paranoid, diplomacy, +3 intrigue, +100 stress gain. That's not great. So, how about sadistic? Let's make her sadistic. Overwhelmed by stress. Uh-oh. Mental break. Improprietous remarks. I sit, paying only little attention as the peasant finishes her tale of woe. Frankly, I barely even registered what they were talking about. My mind is full to bursting with my own problems. A likely story. You're probably some foreign spy, I reply without thinking. The court around us goes utterly quiet, all eyes on the bewildered commoner and me. Evidently, that wasn't the response they expected. Maybe I'll sketch petitioners in my journal. Lose 42 stress, you gain suspicious sketcher for 10 years. So -3 diplomacy, negative hit on the prestige, but we don't really care. Apologies, now repeat your story. Okay, no, that's gonna... No. Another mental break. Leave, all of you, get out of here. So, 42 stress, you gain strange recluse for 10 years. So direct vassal opinion, courtier opinion is -5. And I gained the trait reclusive, which is a bigger thing to diplomacy and stewardship. I mean, her diplomacy isn't great to begin with. Maybe I'll sketch petitioners in my journal. Wouldn't you be stressed if you could be married off to a 60-year-old man at age 4? Yes, that would be stressful. Duke Carla gained 20 opinion of me. Okay, so we now occupy Dulham. Okay, Bernicia. Let's just take all the money.